Thank you very much for the warm introduction. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit around Hortonworks and what specifically we do jointly with our partners such as IBM, Red Hat, and Obsidian to enable our customers to derive competitive advantage from data. In my role as professional services, the head of professional services for pretty much the international business, I'm ultimately responsible for making customers successful. So what I'm going to share with you today is a little bit of insight around how we've done that, the portfolio that we use, the approach that we use to deliver success for our customers, talk a little bit around how IBM and Red Hat and Obsidian fits into that as well as partners in the ecosystem, and then we'll talk a little bit about use cases, specific use cases that we've dealt with in partnership with our customers. So to start off with, I think there's been a lot of talk already around this connected era that we're living in and the vast amount of information that's flowing between systems, right? Everybody's referenced that already. It's gotten to a point where it's starting to significantly change industry segments. If we look at specifically the development segment, we're starting to see now that companies are leveraging socially crowdsourced requirements to drive digital design in real time and to allow for rapid digital prototyping of new services and products. On the manufacturing side, I'm sure you've all heard about manufacturing 4.0, the next manufacturing revolution. There's all this talk about the intelligent fabrication floor. It is reality, right? Today, humans can interact with robotics in real time via augmented reality and ambient immersive experiences to interact with the machines and to optimize the yield on the fabrication floor. In distribution, we're starting to see the mashup of real-time video feeds of the driver, right? Anticipating the driver's state with regards to awareness. Are they tired? Do they need a break? As well as the video feed of the traffic as the driver is driving as well. Not only to ensure the safety of the items in transit, but to ensure the safety of the driver themselves. Marketing and sales goes without saying. Everyone has spoken to this. We all expect nowadays a hyper-personalized, contextualized experience, regardless of which channel we're engaging via, be it the web, be it the mobile, be it on-site at the point of sale. And we want to have real-time recommendations and actions fed to us that are contextual based on our dialogue with the company that we're interacting with. On the service side, we're seeing a lot of change in the real-time service, delivery, and management of services through real-time asset monitoring or predictive asset monitoring, and the ability for us to intercept and address issues before they even arise. We can monitor those assets, we can pick up on the noise that is leading to potentially an asset failure, we can intercept that and actually provide over-the-air updates before that issue even occurs. All of these are being driven by a number of mega trends, and these have been referenced earlier as well. Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and stream processing. I want to try and bring that to life for you with an example, a recent example that was in the press actually yesterday. Everybody knows Vegas, right? Yeah, everybody knows Las Vegas, city of Nevada. How many people have been to Las Vegas? Okay, good number. So one of the things that is quite unique about Vegas is the Strip, right? If you've ever walked down the Strip, very, very large number of lanes, which are the large number of cars going down the Strip. What's the one thing that you've noticed as you walk down the Strip? How easy is it to get across? You can't. It's awful, right? And those crossings are typically a kilometer, almost a kilometer apart. So there's these immense expanse of lanes, and there's very little safety with regards to pedestrian crossings available at a good sort of cadence, right? You've got to walk an incredibly long distance before you can cross the road safely. The city of Nevada and Las Vegas, unfortunately, as a result, are one of the few cities in the US that has seen fatalities increase year over year, pedestrian fatalities. They're actually up 5% year over year in 2016. So, enter Geneva. Anybody heard of Geneva? Geneva Alliance? Geneva stands for a general alliance around in-vehicle infotainment and insights, right? This is an alliance of 140 world-class players in the connected car, open systems space, of which one is Hortonworks. And what are we doing with the city of Las Vegas and the Nevada Council? Well, we're working with them to embed inside the cars the ability to surface information around hotspots, high accident areas with regards to the pedestrians where they're crossing the road, real-time insight around traffic jams so that folks can respond accordingly, as well as providing insights around the bus routes and the bus stops. Inevitably, when a bus stops and people exit the bus, what do people typically do? Exit the bus, go around the front, and cross the road, right? That's a blind spot for most drivers, and unfortunately, it's a very common occurrence for a lot of these fatalities to be straight after exiting the bus at the bus stop. So all of this insight now is being fed into the cars in real time to allow drivers to react, right, and to hopefully avoid fatalities. But what's interesting is we're now starting to stream all of this data in an open, compliant way. So we're starting to see the emergence of what we call the RVI standard, the Remote Vehicle Information Standard, which is being driven by Geneva and being driven by this collaboration across all of these partners in the ecosystem. Hopefully, we will get to a point where we can do more than that, right? With this remote vehicle information, we will be able to feed off the smart city. We'll be able to feed off all of the services in the city, the emergency services. Imagine that somebody does get hit. We could actually divert traffic and allow the medical services to get to folks that have been hit, that need medical attention faster, quicker, and hopefully avoid a fatality. So there's a lot of additional real-time insight that's being overlaid. In addition, the historical insight that we're starting to generate is going to help reshape and reform the traffic flow, the roads, and the design of the city. So it's having a massive, massive impact. So hopefully that brings it to life. All of that being driven by Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, these machine learning algorithms that are constantly learning about the city, the cars, the traffic, cloud computing allowing this to happen because we have borderless services that can scale as the problem becomes increasingly complex, and stream processing allowing us to do the real-time decisioning and insights. Discounts on taxis. Maybe one day. So this is driving a huge amount of growth in the market, right? And it's driving growth of significant scale. If you look at the industry reports, we're looking at about circa 410 billion in the cloud computing space by 2020. The really scary number is in IoT, 1.4 trillion, right? A 1.4 trillion market by 2023. And then big data hitting circa 210 billion by 2020. And the data science platform hitting circa 180 billion by the 2020s as well. These are phenomenal markets, huge amounts of revenue, huge amounts of opportunity for the ecosystem, our customers, and our partners. Hence why we are partnering with IBM, right? We truly believe that the joint value proposition of IBM and Hortonworks is unrivaled and unparalleled. Our open source innovation advantage is unmatched in the industry, right? And we've built out these open models, these open business models, open systems, leveraging a global delivery network of well over 2,100 partners, and we've delivered thousands of successful implementations worldwide with our customers. We provide the best-in-class support for this open source-centric big data and analytics approach. IBM brings to that their prowess on the compute side, on the storage side, on their flexible software-defined aspects, as well as the #1 data science platform in data science experience, and the #1 SQL engine in big SQL. Bring those two together, and you've got a very compelling joint value proposition, which we'll talk through as we go through the presentation. This is not just me talking, right? The industry analysts have validated this as well. So if you look at the latest reports from Forrester, Hortonworks is a leader in the big data warehouse space. IBM is a leader in the data science platforms. It is the leader in the data science platform space for 2017, surpassing historical big players such as SAS, RapidMiner, and K9. In addition to that, the innovation advantage is driven by our joint mass and influence at the core of the open source revolution and advantage, which is the Apache Software Foundation. We have 3 times more committers than the nearest 4 players. What that gives us is that gives us a huge amount of ability and influence and say in where these projects go and which features, enhancements, and requests from our customers will be addressed in upcoming releases of the products and the projects. Okay, so we can influence that outcome far, far quicker than anyone else, given our scale in the open source community. This has always been our founding belief, right? Innovation happens best not in isolation, but it happens best in collaboration. Collaboration with our customers, collaboration with our partners, collaboration with our peers in the industry. There's a couple of other things that the open source and the open community approach allows for. Virtually no lock-in, right? With an open source model and an open source centric approach, you have the ability to port anywhere, migrate anywhere, and to go anywhere, right? You have the ability to extend to your heart's desire, and rest assured that you've got a very, very long-lived technology that underpins all of that. You're not locked in to anyone. The pace of innovation, right? If anybody's following these open source projects, you'll see in the release notes the amount of innovation that is happening literally month by month by month is incredible, right? Why? Because people are absolutely passionate about the projects that they're working for, right? They're passionate about the projects that they're working for. They're passionate about making a change to the world through these leading projects, and they're all coming together to answer and solve very, very complex problems, right? Easy adoption. It's very easy to get going. You've got access to everything. You've got access to all of the projects. You've got access to all of the code. You've got access to everything, right? It's no barrier to entry. And our partnership and collaboration, again, is unmatched with the likes of IBM, Red Hat, Obsidian, and our global delivery network of well over 2,100 partners. Jointly with our Hortonworks support subscription model, we can influence that Apache Software Foundation and all those communities to drive out the outcomes that our customers are looking for and to ensure your continued success. A great example, anyone heard of Atlas? Yeah? So Atlas was formed circa December 2014 as part of the Data Governance Initiative. This is a great example of how we can innovate at the core of the Apache Software Foundation and answer the needs of the ecosystem of our customers, of our partners. We partnered with IBM, SAS, and a number of customers, Merck, JPMC, Target, Aetna. We all got together around this problem of data governance. There was no open approach to data governance, and we formed the Data Governance Initiative, and off the back of that, we developed a generally available release of Atlas within 7 months. Right? That's absolutely unheard of. And it just shows how we can break through the traditional sort of software development boundaries and really innovate at the core and accelerate innovation. So, why does it work? What's different? What's different about the approach? Again, we architect at the core of that Apache Software Foundation. We're driving the releases, we're driving the enhancements, we're driving the features that go in based on feedback and collaboration and code development with our partners and our customers. We develop that within the Apache Software Foundation, so it's available, freely available for reuse. And we distribute the only 100% open source data platform, known as ODPI Core. That is now being leveraged as the de facto data platform by a number of vendors. IBM Big Insights now leverages our ODPI Core. HD Insights, if you're aware of that, Microsoft's online, on the web, platform as a service big data platform leverages ODPI Core. Pivotal has switched their data platform to be based on ODPI Core. So all the software vendors are starting to default on us as the de facto standard for their big data platforms. In addition, we provide the services around that. We provide all the expertise, the experience from our successful implementations worldwide to help you realize your use cases quicker and to make sure that you're delivering them and enabling the people in your organization to be successful once that project is live, right? One of the biggest issues is doing these skunk work projects under the desk, right? And doing a sort of prototypical technical delivery with no business use case, with no business value realized, and not enabling the user community to be successful longer term. Who wants to hazard a guess? What's the #1 reason that projects fail? Forget about big data projects, forget about infrastructure projects, just projects. What's the #1 reason that projects fail? 80% of projects fail due to a lack of end-user requirements, a lack of executive support and engagement, and a lack of a clear definition around what success is, right? Very, very important. You need to work that from the start and make sure that you have a valid use case, a valid business value case, business case to drive out. And you need to have measures, right? You need to have success measures, KPIs, that you're going to track and measure throughout the delivery. And when that is realized as an outcome, go back and make sure that you met those success measures. Make sure that you achieve them. Okay, a little bit about our portfolio. Our portfolio consists out of two real segments. We've got what we call the Hortonworks Connection. The Hortonworks Connection is all about our support, services, and community. On the other side, you will see our Hortonworks Solutions. These are pre-packaged solutions that address horizontal sort of problems facing most organizations today. One being EDW optimization. If you've got legacy estate around large databases, large massively parallel subsystems storing lots of data, you will know that there's a lot of CPU cycles, unnecessary CPU cycles, unnecessary storage of cold data. EDW optimization is all about analyzing that, assessing that, evaluating what cost savings we can drive, and offloading it to Hadoop, which is far more cost effective. Those savings can drive innovation use cases going forward. So it's a very invaluable solution and play. We also have a cybersecurity and threat management-based solution, which is what we call our Hortonworks Cyber Platform. We have our Internet of Things and streaming analytics solutions around HDF and SAM, Streaming Analytics Manager. And now with IBM, we have a world-class data science platform through the data science experience and advanced SQL capabilities with IBM Big SQL. Remember this, all of that can run on-prem, in the cloud, at the edge, embedded in a device, right? It doesn't matter. We cater for the end-to-end life cycle of the data, be it data at rest, be it data at motion, be it data at the edge. All of this is underpinned by our core capabilities in HDP. I'm sure many of you know HDP. This is kind of our core value proposition for a very long time. Since 2011, circa 2011, when we released the initial release. This allows for data governance, data management, data access, integrated security, and operations. And now what we layer on top is the full integration of the IBM data science experience, as well as IBM Big SQL to allow for optimal SQL execution. Data flow, which I referenced earlier, this is all about making sure that we can handle not only data at rest, but data in motion, and that we can generate insights on that stream of data in real time, or at the edge on an embedded device. We can actually embed this technology into a device and compute real-time insights at the device so that you can now make a conscious decision around where do you want that data to land, be processed, and where do the continuous and immediate insights need to be generated. Throughout that entire flow, it's all secured, governed, and managed in a compliant and auditable way. So that's all catered for within the stack as well. We spoke a bit about the data science experience. This is IBM's offering that sits on top of all of that, that allows you to learn, create, and collaborate on data science notebooks and data science pipelines. It leverages open source technologies that we know and love and that we've used historically at Hortonworks. Things like Scala, things like R, Python, etc. All of those are now available to you in an easy-to-use user interface that allows you to also plug into a community. So you can pull in best practices, tips and tricks, code snippets, live videos around what other people are doing to address this problem. And it caters for the end-to-end model lifecycle management. So from the point of inception, from the point of the use case inception, all the way through to that model being operationalized inside Scorecard, inside a web service, or in a real-time stream. The Hortonworks Connection, just to close that loop, don't forget that, again, around all of this, we have support. So we support all of those products and solutions, and we provide predictive, proactive, preventative maintenance through unique capabilities such as SmartSense. SmartSense is continually analyzing your clusters and generating real cluster instrumentation health analysis and giving you proactive feedback around what you need to tweak, tune, or change to make that more robust, more resilient, and more scalable. On the professional services side, We want to work with you to help you define and realize those use cases. We want to work with you to establish centers of excellence, practices that are enabled to be successful longer term. And we want to work with you to allow for a learning and development and enablement plan that allows all of your user profiles to leverage this core capability and make it successful, be it an executive, be it a data scientist, be it a data engineer, be it an architect or an administrator. So customized learning experiences for all of those profiles. And you can choose subscription in an annual format or flex-based format. So we cater for all the different scenarios that most organizations are looking for with regards to modern consumption trends. The community is key to what we do. None of this works unless we partner with our customers and our peers in industry, and we are still doing that and will continue to do that. Our model remains unchanged, right? We have a fantastic community connection. If you've not registered for it, do. It's got a huge amount of insight around what our partners, what our peers, what our customers are doing. You get a lot of real-time insight around what's happening in the community from a themic perspective. And we're still innovating at the core with ODPI. And we have an expansive partner network that increases month over month, right? Right now, 2,100 plus partners. So what's changed, right? I spoke a little bit about Hortonworks 1.0. I spoke a bit about HDP. We started in that data at rest problem space, and that's why we built HDP. Land, web-scale data, bring it under management, and allow for enterprise resource management, security, and governance via HDP. We then embraced the connected world, the connected era, and we brought to that HDF to allow us to now secure, govern, and manage data in motion. That created a connected data platform. And what we've seen since that construction of that connected data platform offering is a huge amount of adoption and push into the cloud across multiple geographies and multiple industries. The next big problem is not only managing data in motion and data at rest, but doing it at scale across multiple geographies, multiple clusters, and multiple data types. That is Hortonworks Data Plane Service. This specifically addresses our customers' needs to have one pane of glass to secure and govern and manage all data. Do your security policies and principles in one place, and allow for an extensible marketplace on top. Those extensible services, think of that as the new age big data analytics app store, right? This will be the app store of the future for all big data and analytics. We are initially releasing something called Data Lifecycle Manager, which will allow you to control the synchronization, replication, and management of data, be it in motion or at rest. But over time, our partners will release their own extensible services on top of this that you will also be able to consume, the likes of IBM's data science experience and more to follow. So it also allows all of these personas that we've referenced to leverage trusted data in real time, to search, query, and consume the data in real time, to spin up an environment in real time, leveraging that data. And once that environment is spun up, it inherits all the required security and governance policies such that there's no compliance issues at all. And eventually, over time, we'll see the data steward being enabled to also do quality assurance of the data and profiling of the data through the same single pane of glass. The data science experience now is enterprise grade because, again, we can do this across all of the data sets, across the entire globe, potentially, across multiple data centers, multiple lakes, multiple environments, and multiple tiers. And with that capability on offer, you can rapidly prototype your analytical models and get them into production very, very quickly through the data science experience. Simply put, one pane of glass to secure, manage, and govern all data, whether in motion or at rest, and regardless of where you choose to store it or compute it, whether it be at the edge, whether it be in the data center, whether it be in the cloud, or a hybrid combination thereof. That is what Data Plane Service will offer to you as customers, partners in industry. Very quickly, let's talk a little bit around financial services because I'm almost out of time. So I'll talk a little bit around what we're doing on the financial services. I'll skip that one. And what I want to show you is that this is the typical approach that we use specifically for financial services. I'm going to focus on financial services. There's a similar journey for other industries. It's just highlighting how we tackle use cases, how we tackle problems in these verticals. We typically look at two distinct types of use cases, what we call renovate use cases, which are typically around infrastructure cost savings and optimization, versus innovate use cases, which are building out modern data applications to address big problems, right? Things like IFRS 9, regulatory and compliance reporting needs, or predictive analytics at scale, right? The renovate side, if you remember, I spoke earlier about EDW optimization. That is one of the most significant plays there, right? Taking data out of these legacy traditional databases, these large-scale MPPs that are very costly, optimizing that from a CPU consumption and storage perspective and pushing it down into the Hortonworks data platform, those savings are significant, right? Significant. That money can be reinvested into the innovate use cases to drive those. We also know that some of you are on this journey as well. Some of you may already be transforming your business with some transformative use cases. We can advise, quality assure, and engage at that level. Or if you're just at the start of your journey and you're just starting exploring some of these use cases, we can help you there as well, ensure that you go down the right path from the start. So we can help you with renovate use cases, innovate use cases, whether you're exploring, optimizing an existing use case, or transforming your business through new innovative models and modern data apps. The three most common ones that we see in financial services, again, infrastructure cost reduction, moving off very expensive hardware, cycles, and storage, the 360-degree view of entities, typically the customer, and regulatory compliance needs, right? That is very, very common nowadays. At their heart, all of these problems require large amounts of data to be consolidated, collated, aggregated, such that you can generate the necessary insights to answer those questions. Obviously, on the infrastructure cost-saving side, we're just offloading the cost to a lower cost base. And we see that coming to the fore, specifically in 360-degree view of the customer, typically IFRS 9 and all of the compliance reporting needs around that. And we are seeing, obviously, a huge demand right now for BCBS 239 and all these other open banking standards requirements that are starting to emerge as well.
You're picking me up now.
How do you get started? 6 easy steps, right? Focus on that use case. I mentioned it earlier. Number one reason that projects fail, you don't have a valid use case. You haven't engaged the user community. You don't have the executive sponsorship. You more than likely do not have a clear business case. Leverage us to help you shape the business case, shape the use case, prioritize use cases if you have multiple, and leverage all of our experience and expertise to deliver that. Assess where you are today from a big data maturity perspective. We have a fantastic big data maturity scorecard. If you've not leveraged it, do. Okay? There's thousands of companies from industry that have completed the scorecard, and you can baseline and benchmark yourself against your peers and your competitors, have a look at what the gaps are and how we can help you address those gaps. Download the Hortonworks Sandbox so you can experiment in a safe and easy-to-use playpen. It'll allow you to evaluate, incubate, and innovate all of these use cases in a nice, easy-to-use interface at a very low bar of entry. Once you feel you've got that use case, once you feel you've got enough meat on the bone to move forward with us, look at an Enablement Jumpstart. This is a nice packaged offering to get you going with services and support in place. And join our communities, follow our blogs. There's a huge amount of information around what our customers are doing, what our partners are doing, and what our peers in industry are doing with our stack. So, simply put, why work with us? We're enabling our customers to be successful in this massive, massive paradigm shift. We are a leading megatrend innovator at the core of cloud computing, IoT, and big data. We serve over 57% of the Fortune 100 now in the US, more than 20% of the Fortune 500 globally. We are the open source thought leader when it comes to big data analytics, and we have world-class partnerships with IBM, Red Hat, and Obsidian to get you going and to realize modern data applications very quickly on top of our stack. Don't forget, every business is a data business. If you're not leveraging, monetizing your data, you probably are losing a competitive advantage, right? Work with us to transform your business models today, and we are powering the future of data together with our partners, with our customers, and I look forward to chatting to all of you, hopefully during the break, and seeing how we can partner together to do that. Thank you.